So, let me guess. You saw the VRAM prices going up. You heard the whispers of another GPU shortage coming, and you told yourself, I'm just gonna wait it out. It can't be as bad as last time, right? Well, what if I told you that waiting is just as big a mistake as buying right now? What if the problem isn't just a shortage, but a full-blown crisis in how graphics cards are being made and sold? A massive, underreported VRAM shortage is smashing headfirst into strategic production cuts from the biggest names in the business. It's creating a perfect storm in 2026 that's going to make today's already painful prices look like a steal. We need to talk about what's really going on. Not just the rumors, but the reports from supply chain insiders and the quiet confirmations from the companies themselves. Because for anyone trying to build or upgrade a PC right now, both buying a card and waiting for a deal are shaping up to be absolutely terrible options. If you've been GPU shopping lately, you've probably felt it. The deals are gone. Prices are creeping up. You're not imagining it. This isn't some post-holiday stock issue. It's the start of something bigger. Board partners have already started raising their prices. MSI reportedly went first, with partners like Asus and Gigabyte expected to follow suit. The price hikes are directly tied to VRAM. Reports suggest that cards with 16 gigabytes of memory or more are seeing the sharpest increases, somewhere in the range of 15% to 20%, while 8 gigabytes models might see a smaller, but still painful, 10% bump. And AMD isn't safe either. The Radeon RX 9000 series has seen price increases of 10% or more, with some reports showing the flagship RX 9070 XT jumping by as much as 17%. These price hikes started with a reported $10 increase for every 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and more increases were planned for January 2026. Industry experts are warning that these high prices, driven by the VRAM crisis, could stick around through late 2027 or even into early 2028. The price spiral is real, and it looks like it's just getting started. So, why is this happening? The answer is simple: AI. The artificial intelligence gold rush has become a black hole for high-bandwidth memory, sucking up the global supply of GDDR6 and next-gen GDDR7. Every single memory company, Samsung, Micron, SK Hynix, is tripping over themselves to prioritize the massive high-profit contracts from data center clients. The gaming market just can't compete. This has triggered what analysts are calling a new super cycle in the memory market, with demand crushing supply for the foreseeable future. This isn't just a theory. We're already seeing the fallout. Reports from Taiwan have confirmed that both NVIDIA and AMD were forced to jack up the supply prices of their GPUs to their partners, companies like Asus, MSI, and Gigabyte. Those price hikes are in the 10–15% range, and they're directly because of the soaring cost of VRAM. And you can bet those costs are being passed directly to us, the gamers. But it's not just a simple price bump. It's changing what kinds of cards are even being made. Okay, so prices are going up. But here's the final brutal twist. They're also making fewer cards. Specifically, they're cutting production of the cards you probably want most. Reports from multiple Asian supply chain sources are grim, suggesting NVIDIA is planning to slash production of its discrete gaming GPUs by a staggering 30–40% in the first half of 2026. But they aren't cutting everything equally. This seems to be a targeted reduction. According to reports, NVIDIA is strategically shifting its focus. They are reportedly cutting the output of higher VRAM models, specifically mentioning the RTX 5060 Ti 16 GB and the RTX 5070 Ti. Why? Because the memory is the bottleneck. The logic is simple and ruthless. Why use precious memory on a mid-range RTX 5070 Ti when you can use that same allocation on a much more profitable high-end card? Or, even better for their bottom line, why not make two 8GB RTX 5060 Ti cards instead and flood the mainstream market? NVIDIA and its partners have responded to some of these reports with carefully worded denials, saying that models like the RTX 5070 Ti haven't been officially discontinued. But reading between the lines of their statements about memory supply constraints, it's clear there's a problem. They're not lying. But they are guiding the market toward a future where 8 gigabytes is pushed as the new normal. Not because it's what gamers need, but because it's what makes them the most money with the limited memory they have. Alright, so things at NVIDIA look pretty bleak. Surely this is a golden opportunity for the competition to swoop in and save the day, right? Well, it's complicated. Let's look at AMD. An executive has publicly stated that they have very strategic partnerships with memory makers to ensure a steady supply of Radeon GPUs for gamers. That sounds great, but it's a promise that exists right alongside reports that AMD has already been raising prices across its entire RX 9000 series lineup. So while you might be able to find an AMD card, it's already getting more expensive. This leaves us with Intel. In this sea of bad news, Intel's Arc lineup might be the only glimmer of hope for gamers on a budget. While NVIDIA and AMD are busy managing their high-end profits, Intel seems to be the only one focusing on value in the mid-range. Cards like the Arc B580 are being positioned as real alternatives for 1080p and even 1440p gaming, especially as competing cards from the other guys get more expensive. It's a small bright spot, but hey, we'll take it. Look, this situation is changing constantly. New supply chain reports are dropping every week, and company strategies can shift on a dime. If you want to stay on top of this unfolding mess and get updates the moment they happen, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. So here we are, stuck between a rock and a hard place. The reality of the 2026 graphics card market is just not good. Here are your options. Option 1. Buy now. You'll pay an inflated, rising price for a current generation card, knowing that its value is being artificially pumped up by a crisis, and that deals are evaporating as we speak. Option 2. Wait. You'll be waiting for prices to come down in a market that all signs suggest will stay expensive for a long, long time. Some analysts even predict the memory shortage could last for years. There's no easy answer here. Both choices are full of compromise. This isn't a normal market cycle where you just wait a few months for the next big thing. This is a period of stagnation where we're being asked to pay more for less. My goal today was to lay out the harsh reality, backed by the reports we have, so you can make your own decision with your eyes wide open. This is a struggle for every PC builder out there. And right now, the only real power we have is being informed. Stay vigilant and good luck.